Hello, this is Matteo from Tech Travel Geeks. The Honor 10 is Honor's shiny flagship for 2018, following in the path of Huawei's sub-brand set with the Honor 8 and Honor 9. The Honor 10 also benefits from some of the features and components you'll see in today's Huawei's flagship P20 series, such as the chipset, while also retaining a courage port, also known as a 3.5mm audio jack. Right, before we go on any further, let's quickly go through the spec sheet. The body is an aluminium frame with a glass back and obviously a glass front for the screen, so it's essentially a glass sandwich. The screen is a 5.84 inch 19:9 aspect ratio one with 2280 pixels by 1080. That's essentially working out at 432 pixels per inch. It's important to note that this screen does have a notch which contains the various sensors and selfie camera. The chipset, just as with the Huawei P20 series, is a HiSilicon Kirin 970. That's an octa-core CPU with 4 cores running at 2.4 GHz and 4 cores running at 1.8 GHz. And that's paired with a Mali G72 MP12 GPU. The HiSilicon Kirin chipset also has a dedicated NPU, that's a neural networking processing chip, which allows the device with the appropriate software to do machine learning on it. The memory and storage are 4GB of RAM in the UK model and 120GB of onboard storage. There's no microSD slot though, so there's no expansion possibilities. The camera is a dual 16MP f/1.8 color sensor and a 24MP black and white sensor. There's phase detection autofocus and it can take up to 4K video at 30 frames per second, but bear in mind there's no laser autofocus on this camera. Whilst the selfie camera is a 24MP f/2.0 lens, which is capable of recording 1080p video. The operating system is based on Android 8.1 Oreo with Huawei's MUI 8.1 and various other AI features enabled by the Huawei Kirin chipset. The Honor 10 is powered by a 3400 mAh non-removable battery, and that is supporting Huawei's own form of quick charge. In terms of connectivity, you'll have a dual nano SIM, USB-C for charging and data, NFC, Bluetooth 4.2, GPS, and GLONASS to sort out your positioning. You also get an infrared blaster, there's a single mono loudspeaker on the device, there's a fingerprint sensor, and you can use that fingerprint sensor for navigation as well. The Honor 10 is a smaller device than most of the other current flagships on the market. Most of the other devices are around about 6 inch in diagonal size, with an 18:9 or 19:9 aspect ratio, whereas the Honor 10 has a 5.84 inch diagonal with a 19:9 aspect ratio and a notch. That means that the device is much smaller to actually hold in use and much more manageable as it fits into more types of pockets in my experience. The Honor 10 has a notch, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The notch can be masked thanks to MUI's software feature to be minimally intrusive and surrounded by black while still being useful displaying notifications. Notches are a bit of Marmite's design feature at the moment. You either love them or hate them, and the MUI notch handling is graceful. I like to think of it as putting a little bit of Marmite on your toast and then covering your toast with a whole jar of Nutella. You may get a little bit of the Marmite aftertaste, probably because you know it's there, but the glaring issue is hidden away. The glass sandwich design, with an aluminium frame holding everything together, is sleek, though it is a bit slippery. The back of the Honor 10 is made of 15 layers of glass, with something called nanoscale optical coating. That means that the colours can shift and fade from blue or green to purple depending on how the light hits the back of it and what angle you're looking at the device from. It's truly something stunning. The review device we have at Tech Travel Geeks is a Phantom Blue model, and the effect is breathtaking. I often find myself taking the device out of a case just to look at the shiny Aurora glass effect. Speaking of cases, the Honor 10 comes with a plastic Honor case in the retail packaging. Those of you with excellent taste will probably be happy to know that quite a selection of cases in different materials are available from Amazon or AliExpress. Yes, of course Mokkodile is an option, and if you thought the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 depleted the world's supplies of fake stitching, pleather phone case makers in China would like to correct your assumptions. Plenty of pleather cases with fake stitching are available as well. The screen is sharp, clear and bright. Even in unusually sunny and bright summer we're having here in Scotland, it is perfectly usable in direct sunlight. The pre-applied screen protector, which the device comes with out of the box, doesn't cover the whole screen, but works quite well. I've been using it with the device as a primary one for over a month and haven't had any problems with it. MUI offers quite a range of display customization options, including screen resolution scaling, which reduces the resolution to HD+, that's 1520 by 720, and that's mainly to save battery power. There's also Smart Resolution mode, which will automatically lower screen resolution to help save that battery life, and scale it up when you actually need it. I found myself comfortable that MUI is smart to rotate as well. The screen will only auto-rotate to follow my face orientation. This is really handy while lying on my side and using the device. The Honor 10 is powered by HiSilicon's latest 10nm chipset, the Kirin 970. As in the Honor View 10, the Huawei P20 series and the Huawei Mate 10, the Kirin 970 is paired with plenty of RAM, in this case 4GB, and that delivers a snappy and reliable user experience, while being relatively power efficient. Compared to my Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 and 845 devices, in day-to-day use I've encountered no noticeable slowdowns or performance differences. The Kirin 970 chipset also includes a dedicated NPU, which allows for machine learning or AI to be performed locally on the device. The benefit of that is that in managing resources essentially, but more noticeably, and something that Honor shout out about, is the use of AI in the camera. This is a standout feature for the Honor 10. Speaking of cameras, the Honor 10 cameras are an interesting setup. On the back you have a dual 16 megapixel color sensor and a 24 megapixel black and white sensor both behind f/1.8 lenses. Autofocus is handled with phase detection autofocus. Sorry, no lasers here. There's also no optical image stabilization, and the flash is a single LED bulb, not dual LED setup as is quite common nowadays. When using the dual camera setup, the 16 megapixel sensor takes the main shot, and then the information from the black and white 20 megapixel sensor is overlaid to deliver all the fine detail. The outcome is a clear and sharp picture with plenty of dynamic range. The usual modes we expect from Honor and Huawei, including the photo with AI, portrait, aperture, video, and AR lens, as well as Pro, which is essentially a manual mode, slow motion, night shot, panorama, monochrome, light painting, HDR, time-lapse, filter, 3D panorama, document scan, artist mode, 3D creator, and good food. The standard photo mode has a colourful AI toggle which will, using MUI software and the dedicated NPU of the Kirin 970 chipset, detect subjects and or scenery and lighting to tune settings accordingly. With the Honor 10, a new Panda mode was introduced. This AI works quite well and often gets things spot on. My two cats, Val and Rodney, are mostly recognised as cats and the cat mode kicks in. But sometimes the Honor 10 AI recognises them as dogs. In the specific case of Rodney, a white and black rescue moggy, Panda mode sometimes kicked into my amusement. The camera AI on the Honor 10 AI camera, which you're reminded of on the AI camera logo on the shiny back, is pretty good, and I've ended up leaving it on by default. The results are usually impressive and very Instagrammable. You're likely to see some of my shots on Instagram with the hashtag #ShotOnHonor10. As the Honor 10 cameras don't have optical image stabilization, low light shots suffer a bit, but if you invest in an inexpensive and cheerful tripod or GorillaPod, night shot mode, which will give you up to 24-second exposure, can produce some stunning shots. The 24 megapixel selfie camera performs well. I'm no selfie expert, but beauty mode makes me look prettier than I really am, and some of the overlays and augmented reality features are fun to mess around with. The 3400 mAh battery on the Honor 10, paired with the Kirin 970 chipset and MUI's software optimization, deliver a day's use quite comfortably for me. This usually involves streaming music over Bluetooth, some light goat related gaming, social media, messaging, and plenty of photography. The fingerprint sensor on the Honor 10 is placed at the front of the device in the bottom bezel. There's no clear delineation or tactile reminder that the fingerprint sensor is there, and it isn't the fastest fingerprint sensor on the market, but works well and seems to be pretty reliable. The added value this brings is that it's an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. That means that you can use it even with your hands damp or wet. Sadly, the Honor 10 has no IP rating, so it isn't too suited to being used in the bath, the pool, or a Scottish winter. You also have face unlock for unlocking your device just by pointing the device selfie camera at your face. This works quite well for me, even when I'm wearing a baseball cap, but not with glasses on. I'm quite used to using it now and would say I face unlock more often than I use the fingerprint sensor. The Honor 10 is an excellent device which delivers very good value for money at the £399 UK price point. While other brands have upped pricing to keep up with being closer to big brand flagships, Honor have managed to deliver a great smartphone while making some key trade-offs which have not affected the overall flagship smartphone experience much. If you're looking for a solid camera, good battery life, snappy smartphone with a drop-dead gorgeous looks, the Honor 10 is recommended by Tech Travel Geeks. Having a dual SIM card slot, I would say, is the biggest decision trigger for travellers as well. Thanks for watching this video by Tech Travel Geeks, and if you enjoyed it or you would like to comment on it, feel free to let us know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please do subscribe to us here on YouTube or check us out at techtravelgeeks.com. Thanks for watching everyone, goodbye.